The premise of the exhibition is it's about trying to experience an art show that doesn't necessarily give you an instant answer. It requires something that holds back slightly, that requires a different kind of investment and a different kind of reward, one may normally expect from an exhibition. All my shows I make to be accessible to someone walking off the street. So there's no coded meanings, there's no baggage that you need to have with you in order to experience the work. I want there to be an instantaneous reward of visual pleasure, but within this aesthetic experience, there has to be an underlining feeling of complexity and contradiction. And I hope that's what you get from the show. There's a certain Mediterranean-ness to all of the work, whether it's the lightness of touch, the sense of colour, the combination of colours, the delicacy or the sensuality, or the tempo in which each work releases itself. So it's very subtle, but it's there, and I think that is how or why I've decided to use as many different mediums as possible. The show consists of several different works using several different mediums. The immediate work you encounter upon entering the gallery is a newspaper piece called Pomegranate. To your left there is a set of paintings called Oleander. In the centre of the gallery there is an artwork consisting of multicoloured neon lights suspended from the ceiling. To the right there are a set of photographs coupled with a large-scale ceramic tile work. This work's called Ambient and the Mediterranean Paintings. And to the furthest left there's a set of 8 cathode ray tube televisions stacked up against each other, consisting of an 8-minute loop. The work's titled Mood Reel. The newspaper work titled Pomegranate consists of, it's presented in 2 ways in the gallery. You have a block of newspapers that the viewer, the visitor to the exhibition can take away with him or her. And then it's also presented on the windows of the gallery. So when the light is emitted through the glass and the newspapers, the work adopts a transcendent presence in so much as that the light shining through recreates the original conditions upon which the images were taken. If you experience the show at a certain time of day when the sun is setting, what will strike you is the way in which the light comes through the windows where the newspaper Pomegranate piece is and creates this hazy red light, like a stained glass window in a church, which is similar to the experience that I underwent when taking these images, which was this otherworldly sense, this transcendent sense of what an aesthetic experience might be with a material object. They were plastered on fly posters and billboards around certain regions of London where there is a large Cypriot community. The distribution of the images on the billboards was documented, and as a further shift in medium, a nomadic shift, I decided to make the images onto newspaper. And 2 things I found really attractive in that: the circulation of images, the way in which they're wasted, and the circulation of food, and particularly these pomegranates, the way they were just left to waste and to rot away. If we look at Mood Reel, the content, which is on an 8-minute loop, is taken from post-colonial and world cinema from the late 50s to early 2000s. Through these very striking images, we can decipher that there is another possibility or horizon of thought that has been lost since the advent of globalization, or what we call neoliberalism. Anticipating a collapse in the current horizon of thought, one has to try and resuscitate certain ideas. And I think what this film does, using the medium of the mood reel, which is a device in advertising used to pitch new ideas, is how might we imagine a world outside of the current neoliberal globalized consumer capitalist world? And it's an open question. The paintings titled Oleanders, they're attempting to play again with two binaries. You have the very small, intimate, private, personal experience of looking or smelling a flower versus the large-scale format of grand, modernist paintings. So the works blow up something that is not necessarily heroic. It's quite intimate, it's quite personal, yet it's done with this saturation or excess of colour, and that in itself is ecstatic. It takes you outside of the present, and that is the purpose of the paintings. So I'm interested in the concept of negative ecstasy. It doesn't imply a kind of advocating a depressive turn or a depressive way of thinking. It actually implies a way of obtaining some kind of access to a sense of the unlimited or the infinite potential in us. And we can do this by mixing the sacred and the profane together. And I aim to set about that through an aesthetic process in my practice, and that's what I'm trying to achieve with the works in this exhibition.